Well, it's time to talk about the history and science behind our Thanksgiving traditions. It's perfect if there's a lull around the table during the big meal. We've got Joe Hanson from the It's Okay to Be Smart program on PBS Digital. Joe, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's great to be with you. I have a feeling a few people might be looking for something else to talk about at the Thanksgiving table this year.
That's a great point. It doesn't even need to be a lull. We just want to talk about something different. And this is perfect because there is so much science and history beyond this meal. Looking over some of these notes you sent over, starting with the bird itself and some things you can kind of observe as you're carving the turkey.
This is such a fun thing because, some people's kids might have told them, I heard that birds are dinosaurs. And yes, that's true, but you can actually show that when you're carving up your bird this year in a lot of really fun ways. So we know that birds are dinosaurs because of bones. We dig up fossils from dinosaurs all over the world, and we can see in birds alive today that they share a lot of the same features. And of course, one of the most important ones is everyone's favorite bone on the turkey, that wishbone. That's a really special bone. It's kind of like this bone that we have going near our collar here on humans, but there's a special because it's attached. We only see that bone, that wishbone, in one other group of animals, and that's one class of dinosaurs. So when you're making a wish on that, you can have a little, maybe hum the Jurassic Park theme in the background there. Another one of my favorites is over there in the wing. And a wing is actually a hand. That's a pretty funny thing to think about, but you can go right to the end of that wing, way to the pointy end when you're taking your bird apart. You're going to find a little tiny bone that you can break off. That's an old dinosaur finger. And that reminds you that there was old 3-fingered dinosaurs running around before those became wings and flappy turkey parts that we have on our table.
Before they became so delicious, especially out of the deep fryer, I guess. Also, there's so much history involved in this meal, and you could really spend a lot of time talking about the origins of some of the other Thanksgiving staples in a meal and how they made it to our table.
Exactly. This is a truly great American holiday in terms of the Americas, the continent. Ben Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national bird, and that's for great reason. It's a native species to this continent, and it was an important part of indigenous cultures that were here long before, the modern tellings of Thanksgiving. Things like the potato came from South America. Things like corn, of course, were essential to cultures that were in the Americas long before us. And have been a staple crop for far more than just Thanksgiving meals. All the things that we find on our table in that regard, it really does sort of reflect, I think, what it means to be American. And you can have these conversations and sort of be able to tie not just our history as people and culture and traditions, but to our scientific history and our evolutionary and biology history, which to me just makes Thanksgiving all the more special. Yeah,
it is important to have those conversations. I want to be open-minded, Joe, but I've got a rhetorical question here. I think my answer going in is probably no. The question is, would you add some bugs to your Thanksgiving menu? What is the basis of that discussion?
Well, I have been known to try a few insects in the name of science. As we're all thinking about new ways to eat and the impacts of these foods on the climate and the environment, there are some people saying that, little insects might be a great source of protein. And there's interesting ways you can kind of cook these into your meals with some protein powders and things like that. Or maybe try some grasshopper tacos for a side dish this year. It's an acquired taste, but it's a pretty interesting one that a few more people might be seeing on their plates in the future.
I've also tried some bugs in my role as morning show anchor with some segments we've had, and they weren't bad, but I'm going to stick with the traditional American staples and the turkey for now, and maybe be open-minded for a different meal. Again, we've just scratched the surface here for Thanksgiving. I know you cover Christmas and winter topics as well and so much more. How can people access the show?
You can find us on YouTube. Just search for It's Okay to Be Smart, or head on over to pbs.org. You can see all of our videos, plenty to talk about around your holiday table now and many years in the future.
Very cool. Joe Hanson, thank you so much for your time and happy Thanksgiving. We appreciate it.
You too. Stay safe.